It's a beautiful Saturday morning, as always, because it's time for us to talk politics on independent television and radio. My name is Sonny Duke Oposi, your host on the program. Well, the race for 2023 is on. Aspirants are gearing up, particularly for the presidential elections. Over the week, 2 more aspirants joined the race from the part of the PDP and then from the APC. Vice President Professor Yanoshi Banjo joined the race, and then on the part of the PDP, Governor of Rivers State Nyesom Wike also joined the race. I mean, the list just keep increasing by the day, and the space keep widening by the day. We're going to be talking all of that, and also look at the issue of zoning, particularly as it relates to the People's Democratic Party, and then the huge expectations for the 2023 election. But one thing is very, very clear, which is something that a whole lot of people have been talking about, is the fact that when you look at our election since 1999, it's always been between 2 major political parties. And as things stands at the moment, is going in that direction. So you want to ask the question, when will all these other parties grow up, be strong, be mature, to be able to wrestle power from these 2 dominant political parties? And at some point, you can also agree with me that when you put those 2 dominant political parties side by side, there's really no difference. What does this portend for our polity? This will also be part of our discussions today. Well, let's quickly meet our panelists. Pius Salile is a political consultant. He's also a public affairs commentator. Thank you for joining us on the program. Thank you. Christopher Ojekere is the Programs Officer, Foundation for Good Governance and Social Change. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sonny. Good morning.
Okay, let's start from party politics. Since the democratic experience started more than 15 years ago now, we have continued to grapple with this challenge of 2 major dominant political parties. In other climes, yes, you can have 2, but you can also have some other, maybe about 3 or 4 more dominant political parties. Why is the Nigerian situation different? Let me start with you, Pius Salile.
Oh, yes. That's a very, very good question. But I want to say that, you know, our political system is still evolving. It might take years, it might take decades, and so many years to get to a certain level of rationality. For now, with the political space, the political activities, the dynamism, the fluid nature of it, it's still on. It's going to take time for us to begin to see certain level of behavior that the public will look and say, okay, yes, this is where we want it to go. I want to say very clearly that the smaller parties, it's not about just saying there is a political party. First of all, you have to look at the preparation of that party from the scratch. You have to look at the structure. You know, it is the structure of a party that determines the party strength. The structure from the units, the structure from the ward, and the zones, and to the national level. So some of these parties are just existing on papers, and that's a fact. They have no structure anywhere. Now, when you don't have enabling structure to drive your programs and objective to the people, it becomes difficult to accept. And that is why the population have come to identify with the 2 dominant political parties. Because what has been happening is that the smaller parties have not been able to make inroad to the grassroots. Secondly is the issue of resources. Honestly, it takes resources. If you look at PDP, APC, PDP have been in power before, and they still control some of the states. APC is still in power at the national level and still control some of the states. Some of these parties control the local government as well, you see, and it takes resources. And that is what we call capacity, to be able to, you cannot play politics without certain level of finance, you know. And unfortunately, we live in a country where party members we do say that party members should contribute to the party finances, but that is not what is happening in Nigeria. Members don't contribute. You understand?
They collect.
They even collect. You understand? It doesn't work that way here.
Yeah.
In the Senate climb, the party members show responsibility. They pay their dues every month. Some even set it up on direct debit, and the party collects it directly without any. But here it's not like that.
Yeah.
And that is why party also go after aspirants that have a little bit of resources to spend, because party on their own have not been able to respond to be able to win election or campaign. You see?
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot of. It's a whole lot of. And what you also find is that the bigger parties, the big parties, APC, PDP, attract aspirants that have certain level of resources far more than the smaller parties. So those are some of the issues.
Okay.
And so finance is a major
issue.
It's a major issue.
Factor.
Another thing, I've been in a small party before. I know. You see, the leadership must also show certain level of responsibility, certain level of sacrifice. You see, it requires sacrifice for a small party to be able to grow. Personal sacrifice from the leadership, personal sacrifice from the
membership
as well. So it takes a lot. And let me also tell you this, that even in the bigger parties, the leadership are still sacrificing. Members are still sacrificing. You understand?
So it makes the party strong.
It makes the party
okay,
strong.
let me pause you there.
These are some of the factors.
Okay, Chris, let's get you in here. When we look at pre-independence and the earlier part of the post-independence political process, we had political parties that they had defined ideologies. When you take this party, you know what it stands for. You take this party. So there's been a collapse in party ideology. What we just have now is a clear-cut departure from what used to be. So what happened?
The military. It's the military that happened. As soon as the military interrogam came in, we lost all our values. We did not just lose political values, we lost educational values, we lost cultural values, we lost values for dignity of labor and all of that. It's the military. The military had no respect for democratic tenets. Even while they are the military, there are democratic tenets that are entrenched in the civil service, for instance. They disorganized the civil service and enthroned people who were yes men to them. At the time you are saying that was when we had super permanent secretary. You rose to become a permanent secretary from competence. That's why we had people like John Odiga, who become permanent secretary. The late Omanoba Erejawa becoming permanent secretary. The military dislocated all of this. And by the time they were now ready to hand over power back to civilians, they set the stage and chose the people that would protect them. Would you have given power to people like Awolowo, who refused to serve in the military government because he says it is not a democratic government and that military government is illegal? He's likely going to probe you and he's likely going to shoot. So they gave power to those who they can malleable people that they can manipulate. And that's where all values were lost. And that's where we lost our values. The days you spoke about, let's not even go back to the 60s. Let's come to the 70s that many of our people now can relate to. UPN, NPN, GMPP. In fact, the man that popularized the peaceful coexistence in politics, GMPP, was just a regional party in Borno, but it became popular nationally because he had the philosophy of politics without bitterness. Ibrahim Waziri, I remember that time. Then you had NPN with clear-cut ideology. You had the UPN with its 4 cardinal program. Wherever you had the UPN state, you executed those programs. Then parties were organized and parties were supreme. Adisa Okiloye in protocol got mentioned before you mentioned President Chewu Shagari as president. Adisa Okiloye was the chairman of MPN. Got mentioned in protocol in public functions because the chairman of the party. So it was the military that dislocated all the values we had. And that is why by the time we were returned, especially in 1979, I mean, we all know that first of all, even the constitution on which our democratic process is based was given to us by the military.
Over 15 years of democratic practice is not enough for us to put all of these structures in place and right the wrongs of the past.
Back to their nature. What is the nature of our traditional African society? It's patriarchal, hegemonic. We have the father, the Oba, and then we have the chiefs, and then we have the father, and we have the clan heads, and so on. So we are running parties of clan heads. We are running parties of hegemony. So that you have a situation where all the factors he has mentioned are involved. We are the people that had the money when the military were leaving. They were the ones that set up the party. They became the leaders of the party. And they felt that as leaders of the party, they dictated what went on in the party. If you disagreed with them, and many of them had military mentality, Obasanjo and the others and so on, yes, those are the people that formed the party. The G34 was formed by Kwame and the others, but the Obasanjo just came and took it from them. And so we started running that military mentality, and that's what we still have. And as long as we have that, we're not going to have democratic processes.
Okay.
Now, the small party, as he mentioned,
that
should have risen up. There have been several experiments. We had the third term, what do you call it? Third force. The other time, and we all went in there. I was in the same party with our leaders. And we know what we saw there. So the point is that as the military destroyed the educational system, there was no longer independence of thought. Fear drove people to submitting to, you know the popular saying, if you can't beat them, you join them. So that's philosophy. So that's why we have the problem that we have.
Let's quickly look at the growing numbers of presidential aspirants. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo joined the list, and his political leader said he doesn't have a son matured enough that has grown enough to contest against him or participate. I'm talking about Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Let's take it off from there.
Yes, I think when you look at that, when you look at the number of presidential aspirants, it's healthy for our democratic process. Very, very healthy. I don't see any problem with that. But the issue of Osinbajo, everybody, we all have a right to contest the presidency. One thing is to say I want to contest. Another thing is to be able to make impact and to be able to get the ticket. That's another thing. And the issue is political capital. You must have political capital to be able to say, okay.
So are you saying Vice President Osinbajo doesn't have the political capital?
I've not said that.
Okay.
You're the one that is saying that.
No, I'm just asking.
I am saying that you must have political capital. Another issue is the issue of morality. The issue of morality. The issue of respect. The issue of somebody have made substantial impact in your political journey and you are contesting against him. Morality. Does he have a political right? Yes. But there's also what we call political morality. Some people will begin to question. They are questioning him now. Some are saying, is it actually right for you to contest against somebody that brought you into politics, made you a commissioner, recommended you for vice president, and today you are contesting against him? Are you not supposed to be supporting him? That is political morality. But when it comes to legal rights, yes, he's got the right. Will he be able to defeat his master, his boss? That is another issue. But for me, I know that it takes a whole lot of political clout, political capital, to be able to say, I want to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. First of all, within your party, do you have the wherewithal, the political wherewithal to be able to get the ticket? That's another thing. Do you have the grassroots popularity? That's another thing. Do you have the support within that party to be able to say yes? So these are some of the issues. Now, and those are some of the questions they are asking Osinbajo. For me, I think Osinbajo has a right to contest.
Okay.
But if I was in his position, I will not. The reason is because I do not want to be attached to that word betrayal, or I do not want to be looked upon as somebody that does not show.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that while you're very choosy with the kind of words you're using to do this analysis.
I'm not choosing.
Okay.
I'm trying
just
to
being deliberate and careful.
I'm just trying to be objective.
Okay, all right.
As much as I can.
All right, Chris, let's get your perspectives, because I know that one major topical issue that has dominated our discourse in recent times is the fact that part of the reason President Muhammadu Buhari has not been able to perform, I mean, he's admitted to that, is the fact that age is not on his side. At several instances, he would tell you that, oh, he wish he were much younger. He probably would have done X, Y, Z. Factor that into this conversation of Vice President Osinbajo, you know, expressing his interest and some of the backlash that are coming from the other side.
Well, I'm going to put it this way. Age is something else, and then these questions of the backlash. If you ask me, and by every form of biological computations and all of that, any man that is above 70, as a black man, because of our health hazards and all the things we have passed through before we become 70, should actually go and retire. It is for his own good, not even because people desire that, so that he can live the rest of his life peacefully and then, you know, enjoy his skills. Yes, because I mean, we look at the ratio of our age, what the life expectancy of the black man is 50-something years. Yes. You know, because of the hazards we have to pass through before we even get to that age. And then we don't have the best of medical, you know, facilities here. And as you said just now, the president himself admitted it. He said that in England, that he wished he were, you know, 30 years, I mean 40 years younger. So that he found himself that he was carrying a strain that was too much for him, but he couldn't just walk away. So we don't want a repeat of that kind of thing. Now, Osinbajo, by age brackets that I have said, is very qualified. Legally, he's very qualified. Then as for the revisionism about loyalty, ingratitude, it's what I refer to as a travesty of morality. I read the Bible, Alina is pastor here. The only source of public morality should come from either the Bible or maybe other religious book, for me from the Bible. And I understand that in the Bible, servants have rights. In fact, we are told in some places in the Old Testament, after he has served 7 years, you should let him go. The point is that our public offices private, you know, private estate that we dole out as private gifts. At our whims and caprices. A man became professor of law, first class. Your cover was not in it. You needed that brain to help you succeed in your own administration. And then you brought him into serve Lagos State. And people, when I begin to hear this thing, I've been wondering. And people are saying it should be loyal. Loyal to whom? The point is, has Osinbajo been seen in public insulting Tinubu? No. Has he been seen in public doing any sort of thing that shows that he's insulting his person? He does not. If Osinbajo himself was the one who said he was his father. And I thought it was very low for Tinubu to say that I don't have a son that should contest for presidency. I mean, if he calls you father, when he came and lived in the house of Okonkwo, I'm going to Tinsola Park now, for several years, and it was time to kill the Kemefuna. Ogbuefi Ezeudu came to Okonkwo. I said, look, that boy calls you father, bear no hand in his death. That was what led to Okonkwo's downfall. He didn't listen. That's our traditional African society. So the point is, what do you mean when you say he's been, you know, he's disrespectful or whatever? He submitted his name. Buhari had the choice to reject or accept. And if he's contesting to the under Buhari, we should hear that. You know, I was telling somebody, this is the first time in our democratic process that the vice president has the courage to come out to say he wants to contest for presidency. Atiku did, and you know what the result. That's what I'm saying. Atiku tried to do.
It was very cantankerous. Yes. The country almost went up in flames.
For Jonathan, the whole country had to go to the streets before doctrine of necessity made it.
Was activated, yeah.
So this is the first time. And, you know, irrespective of all of Buhari's, and you know what I think about Buhari, I gave this to him. And I should think that every other person should be happy with that, because we need people in the democratic space, especially competent people. And it should not be seen as a personal matter, a sentimental matter. It should be seen as whether this man can deliver results. And if he can deliver results, let's by all means support him. People who are saying that we are talking of disloyalty and so on and so forth. In fact, when I hear such people talk, some of them are the most treacherous human beings you can deal with when you are dealing privately. You are saying to me that if they have an opportunity for advancement in their place of work, they will say, no, that man came before me, please, let him get the promotion. Won't they take the promotion? Would they think that the older man?
No, not at all.
It is about Bola Tinubu, as far as I'm concerned, has achieved everything a man should achieve. He does not need to answer the name president. I mean, in words, in influence, and all of that. His political class is not in.
But he has a right to contest as well.
He has a right to contest as well. So, but he shouldn't see any other person contesting. We can't progress this country like that.
Yeah.
We are going to have to muffle and then subjugate all of our geniuses until we have all the other aged people dying out. Before, and by the time they are dying out, we are already also old. Do you understand that? So the point is
like
that,
a vicious cycle.
Yeah, they have the right. People shouldn't use that argument.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
whether he has the competencies to deliver. That's what they should use.
Okay, if you just join us, it's still politics today, and it's reaching you live on independent television and radio. Beautiful Saturday morning. Okay, let's look on the flip side to the PDP. Governor Nyesom Wike declared his intention yesterday, and it was in Benin City. That visit has also stirred up some issues, okay? This is who he is.
Yes.
But the interesting thing is that he's also someone who has demonstrated character in his state and responding to issues, and is joining the football. There's a question about zoning of the PDP presidential ticket. What does this mean for him?
Yeah, you know, Jekere has made some valid point, but I want him to talk like a politician in reality. Governor Wike came to Benin and never visited the governor of Edo State. It's for some reasons. And what is that reason? He said it last time that he's not happy with him. Because, of course, he betrayed his trust. He supported him at the time. And after all the support, this is what he's getting. He said it very clearly on television. You see, ingratitude is a political aberration in politics. When somebody that was instrumental to your success, your actions appears to show lack of appreciation or ingratitude to that person when it is needed most. You understand? And that is what I call political morality. In any organization, there are ethics. There are ethics. And those ethics, you must imbibe them. Even in this organization, there are confidentiality within it that you must not disclose for one reason or the other. Why? To protect the healthiness of the organization. The principles of confidentiality is there. It is in every sector. In politics, there are ethics. You understand? Loyalty is part of the ethics. Not to the detriment of the society. That's not what I'm referring to. That is why I said just now that he has a legal right to contest. He's healthy, he's fine.
But in most cases, the loyalty is at the detriment of the nation. In most cases, that's how it turns out to be.
It's your perception. It's your perception. Because you don't know what happened behind the scene. You don't know the argument that have played out. You don't know when that loyal man is presenting his facts. I will not do this. It will not come to the public. You don't know the give and take that have taken place. You understand what I mean? You don't know what has happened. So it's always a perception that when somebody is loyal in politics, that person is being manipulated. It's not true. It's not true. That person said sometimes challenged. Say, look, no, I won't do this. And the leader will respect that. You understand? But not to the public. You understand? So it's not all the time you don't think that, oh, if you as my benefactor, I'm respecting you. It's not all the time you think it's detrimental to the public or to the society. No. We have people that have been politically molded in a way that they behave well. They still go outside the public effectively and deliver. We have a lot of people like that. Disloyalty is something that every politician holds seriously. And that is why you see Governor Wike came to Benin, and that is well, the issue of zoning is for the sake of equity, it's for the sake of fairness, to prevent or stop marginalization of a, for me, if you want me to say anything here now, I would say that the presidency should go to the southeast because they've been marginalized. It's obvious. There's no point. Let's be honest. That side of the country have been heavily marginalized politically. So if you want to talk about fairness. The reason why political party do this zoning, when I was to be a councillor in 1999, PDP zoned the councillorship to my area and zoned the chairmanship of the party in the ward to another area. This for the sake of equity. And that even contributed to my victory, because I came from one area where I was very strong. The chairman came from another area where political arrangement is also strengthening your chances of winning.
Okay.
When there is marginalization, there is always backlash. The political consequences are there. So as far as I'm concerned, the issue of zoning is healthy, because of course, if we don't do that, you'll be surprised that for 100 years, certain region of the country will not even have any taste of the presidency. Okay. And that is why I am not saying, some people keep saying that, oh, how do you get the best? This country, we have the best in every region. Honestly speaking, this is a blessed country. The human capital, you go abroad, our people are everywhere. They do well in everything they lay their hands, especially when the environment is conducive. Like in every region of this country, you cannot say, oh, because it's zone, you won't have the best people there. It's not true at all. It's not true. If you go to the Southeast now, we have people that can govern this country effectively. You come to South effectively. It's not true. And it's not the best educated people that are the most competent people. When you don't come to governance, you are a prof does not mean you will deliver. It's not grammar. It's responsibility, determination, and commitment. Okay. And your selfless nature. That is what brings the best.
But we have also seen that lack of education could be a major disadvantage.
What is
lack of proper education, lack of training, adequate skills, governance skills can be a major disadvantage. We are seeing that playing out now.
Does that mean that you are not a prof, you are not educated? Don't you have a master's degree? Don't you have BSc? Does that mean because you are not a prof, you are not read to that level? Now, is there everybody that will be in the classroom?
Okay.
Lecturing?
All right.
I want to say this very clearly, that it is not the level of education that determines that. It is your enlightenment, responsible education, responsible enlightenment, your commitment to values. Very important.
Okay. All right. Let me proceed.
Very important.
Chris,
and that is what helps in the delivery process.
Let's look at Wike's enlisting in the presidential race under the platform of the PDP, and then this conversation around zoning. Some time ago, it became very, very heated with some governors like Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto State. Look, there is no such thing in the Constitution. If you want power, you must fight for it, you must work for it before you can get it. But there's also been this talk about winning election in Nigeria and the block votes that comes from the northern part of this country.
So, Wike has a right, just as he said, to contest for the presidential election. Every of your action, the moment you declare public interest, it's being computed, and those actions define your character, and it is that character that determines the choice of the people. You want to look at a president as a man with a magnanimous heart, as a man who has respect for protocol. There is no justification that Wike can give as to why he will enter into a state and he will not go to visit the governor of that state. There's no justification that he can give for that. If he had character, as he claims to have, it is even better to jettison that visit, because it has generated the kind of
controversy. Okay.
If it is not defined as pettiness, it's defined as lack of respect for protocol. This is protocol. It doesn't matter. You may not like the president. You may even poison him while you are there, but you have to follow that protocol, because you are going to have to take several such decisions as president. Remember why we have the problem we have now. A man was addressing the war in Britain, and he said, well, he thinks that it is justice to marginalize. He didn't use that word, but that's what he said, where he got the let's vote for. And he will concentrate
95% against 5% votes.
That was the day we had the problem we have in Nigeria today. Because that part of the country felt, in fact, you know what the furor it generated. So as president, you are seen as father of the nation. It no longer matters what happened to you personally. you look at that aspect to take your decision. So he has no justification. Now, as to the second part of your question, which is, sorry, remind me, one word.
Zoning.
Zoning. Now, I am 100% agreement with Khalid. It is inconceivable. We don't live in a fair society where you would say, okay, this region that have produced the president, when you argue against reason or you argue against a superior argument, you provide superior argument because you can use more superior. If you argue against an argument, you provide superior argument. What is the superior argument to say that the region that produced the president for the past 8 years should produce president again? What's the superior argument? The other regions are saying you have done your bit. Posterity will judge your performance. But let it go to the other region, because we have two major regions in Nigeria, the north and the south. Let it go to the other region, and let the other region also do their bit, and let posterity judge. There is no argument against that. And that is why I am angry with my party, the PDP, who cannot come out. They are playing the ostrich. They cannot come out boldly and clearly to say we have zoned our presidential ticket to the south. That's where I stand.
To what extent will that guarantee the party winning the election? Is it that what you consider when you go into an election to win the election? Aren't you supposed to look at the indices on the ground and see if zoning will advance the cause of the party?
The extent it will guarantee is that Buhari still has his 12 million votes, and he had it for 3 consecutive times, and he didn't win the presidency. He still has that 12 million votes still now. He had it for 3 consecutive times, didn't win the presidency until he looked south. When he looked south now, brought their own vote, and he won the presidency. Are we going to say that it is only South that will vote for the Southern presidency? Don't you know that the major proponent of zoning is even coming from the North? El-Rufai is the first champion of zoning from the North. And many others are following on enlightened Northerners who know what balance means and who know the equity that should play out in Nigeria for Nigeria to stand still. Now, what benefit have they not got from the man who is there that they will hold on to Northern mandate? So the party is playing the ostrich because they are looking at a particular presidential candidate. The point is that you have competent people in the south and you have people who are networked from the south to the north that the people are ready to vote for if you throw it open. So there's no argument. The south should have the presidency, and that is where we stand in the south. The truth of the matter is that anybody that gives their presidential ticket to the north will lose the elections. That's the truth of the matter.
Why are you so sure about that?
Because I'm a Southerner, I know our thinking. It's about the only thing we have agreed on here just now.
Zoning.
Yes, and that's how you have it all over the place. So I'm telling you the truth. Because we know what we have suffered in these 8 years. So let it come to the south. Let's try out our hands. And now let me tell you, let's be very honest. Whether you call it head of state, whether you call it presidency, start from 1960 till now. Have not had more than enough fair share of that position? How many Southern presidents have we produced? When they want to argue that they bring it to the democratic process, with the military, was it not Nigeria we hate? Was it not the same Nigeria? All the military rulers that ruled us, was it not Nigeria? Were they not all northern destruction? So the South has all the arguments of why it should come to the South. And it should come to the South.
Okay, if you just join us, it's still Politics Today, and it's reaching you live on independent television and radio. Shortly, our studio line will be open so you can call and be part of the discussion. We always advise that when you do call, endeavor to turn down the audio level on your radio or television set, and also ensure you do not cast aspersion on anyone or call names. Focus on the issues that we've brought forth on our conversations today on the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. Well, do you foresee more presidential aspirants join the race in the days to come? But one man was also in Benin this week, Peter Obi. Yes, there's been some sort of a vibe going around him. You want to say something?
Oh yes, I think the Southeast should just come up with one candidate or one aspirant, rather than everybody coming out and trying to, because we need a Southeast aspirant or a candidate that will be appealing to the South-South, to the Southwest, and to the north as well.
Okay.
You see, we cannot remove personalities from this, from politics. We need a strong figure that we appeal generally to everyone. And that is where some of these regions are not getting it right. You must. Obi is okay. I don't have any problem with Obi. I know more are coming out. But I very much believe that they should look at that, they should have a regional consensus, first of all, and present and support one person. Then we can begin to take them seriously. A situation where a clan or a community will just come up with about 10 presidential aspirants. All in the name of we all have a right. You know, there is a problem in the Southeast. You know, everybody have a right there. You understand?
I want to exercise that right to the fullest.
To the fullest, and that's the problem. Why here? Well, probably it's because of the pre-colonial arrangement. We believe in leadership here to some extent, and that also directs what we do. But over there, everybody is a leader. So that is another issue. And when everybody is a leader, political agreement becomes very complex, becomes very difficult. Because consensus becomes difficult to achieve as well. Where everybody is a leader, and everybody is exercising, and everybody is rich, they all have money to fight. And all this kind of situation that will give advantage to other regions over them. Okay. So they need somebody that will be able to say, okay, yes, you present this person, let this. You also have Ayin Pius Ayin. It's also
from the southeast.
From the southeast. We have very good people there that can. For me, it should be given to the southeast for the sake of equity and fairness. The southeast is time for them. I'm not, and that is the way. That is the way to build a nation. It is through fairness and justice. There is no way you don't get all these agitations, all this disunity, when people feel that from now to the next 300 years they won't be able to produce a president, or they see themselves as a secular citizens in a country that they own. It's very, very difficult, and that is what we call equal opportunity. You know, even in advanced countries, they do everything to go after the marginalized and bring them into the mainstream. They do everything.
That's inclusiveness.
Inclusiveness. They temper with their laws and made it here and there to be able to include those that are crying, that are saying that they have been marginalized. Okay. You see? Okay. And they do a lot of deregulation all the time and give power to, because of course they want to include everybody. And that is what we need. We need to start building a nation. We are not building a nation, no. All this problem, all this crime, all this fighting, all this bandits here and there, is because we don't have a nation. We need to build that national identity. You understand? Instead of talking about I'm a Benin man, I should see myself as a nationalist first. I'm in Nigeria, and I'm proud to be in Nigeria. If I begin to talk about where I actually come from, it's very
all right, Chris.
Probably we must go back to the basis of our education and start teaching patriotism. Because that is where we're not getting.
Chris, let's get your perspectives, and then with the overhang of the IPOB issue. How do you see that as a major challenge in the prospect of a southeastern president?
Yes, it's not a challenge at all, because IPOB, till now, as far as I'm concerned, is just one violent group put together by one young man who thought he should experiment with trying out his vagrancy on the Nigerian state, and he's succeeding. And that's why you hear people like Olube saying they are set up a committee to look at the root causes of IPOB. IPOB is not the representation of the Southeast. Who are the members of IPOB and the leadership? Is it not the Kanu that will be leading people like Benoit Boise? Peter B. Solution.
Yet he gives a directive, everybody obeys.
No, by terror.
Yeah.
By terror. And
that's a factor.
Yes, that's the failure of the
that's
state.
A force.
That's the failure of the state, but not an identity of the Southeast.
Okay.
If we are going to be negotiating with the Southeast, it's not the Kanu that will be sitting on the table, nor IPOB. So IPOB is a problem within the general problem. If the entire Southeast, as he said, feel part of Nigeria. I'm not saying that it is other Nigeria that make them not to feel so. If the entire Southeast feel a part of Nigeria and they are satisfied that they have been integrated into Nigeria, they will take care of IPOB within minutes. That's what I'm telling you. The point is that Abaribe leaders of the Southeast are asking themselves, why going to fight the cause of the federal government against IPOB? What do we have to gain? That's the point. So when you take care of that superstructure, and the superstructure feel you have a stake in this country, then they take care of IPOB with their children. They can point out every IPOB member to you in the villages, and you pick them up. So the point is that there's a deeper cause, which is leading to, you are not mentioning Oduduwa Republic, it's the same thing in the Southwest. Our pounded boys are quiet because we had a kind of deal, and so the president's initiative, give them amnesty. Oh, you recognize us as the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Okay, let's talk. We are ready to talk with you. You have this portion. Lay down your arms. And they did.
So what makes it different from the agitation by bandits, as it were?
The agitation from bandits is that they have an ideology of terror. Kill as many as you can kill and get attention. That is the agitation of bandits. Bandits are not Nigerians. The president himself said so. They are people brought in from outside of Nigeria, so they don't have any stake in Nigeria. Destroy as many Nigerians as you will destroy and get attention from the government so that they can give you money. It's pure criminality. It is blackmail by the gun. That is what banditry in the Northeast is. Now, if IPOB decide to also take to that, which, there are so many instances now, I cannot prove that the IPOB people, because I know how states work. Are you following me? So that is IPOB people that will just enter police station, enter beer panels in the South and start to shoot people. I don't know that. Are you following? But bandits come out, they boast about it, they are everywhere, and they give the figures they have killed and so on and so forth. I don't know about that happening in the Southeast. And that's why I tell you that if you take care of the superstructure in the Southeast, IPOB become a thing of the past. Okay. But the banditry in the North, up to today, who have been identified? Have we caught any leader the way we caught the Kano and put in jail to say this is the head of the banditry? We have not. Okay. Yes.
Let's pursue there. Still, politics today on independent television and radio. Our studio line is open, 052-290-573. That's the number to call and be part of the discussion. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. To turn down the audio level on your television set and be brief because there are others waiting. Hello, caller. Good morning. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Dr. Opo, PhD, radio professor and the ESA ambassador to the whole world.
Thank you, Dr. Opo. Please go ahead.
Yes. I think selecting the next president of Nigeria, we have to be very critical. We don't want to believe that education don't have a role to play. You have to be well educated, not just that you have to educate yourself, but you must be well educated, at least to a master's degree level, at least. Because the one we are facing now, the present education we are facing now, became worse because of the educational qualification of our president. And over the years, no academic rehabilitation in terms of a seminar or conferences attended. So the man says, I don't want the administration on his behalf. He seems not to be aware of the economic situation of Nigeria. So, and moreover, Nigeria did pass since 1999. That is what our people should know. And the Nigeria before amalgamation was two protectorate, the North and the South protectorate. And so that means that they are so quickly. You see, the political vote that brought by Abata was to weaken down the power of the South the more. So we believe in North and we believe in the South. So we must let our Southern brothers know that when it comes to the South, let us seriously appropriate it. So that we don't fight about it and lose the position. Okay. So anything short of a Southern president, I'm sure that party is already on the road to failure. Okay. Yes, according to the United States governor visiting to state, people are trying to make issue that is not visiting the governor. They came to visit the PDP, not the deputy government. And the deputy governor and the deputy, being a member of the PDP, ought to have given that benefit of the PDP meeting and thank you so that it's time for us to recognize the party above the chief executive of the state. Like your guest, you are making allusion to your side in the Second Republic and the First Republic.
Yeah.
So it is time for us to allow parties to take precedence. So the idea of governor being the leader of the party would be destroyed.
Okay.
So that Nigeria can move forward.
All right, Dr. Opasike, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, this is Pastor from Ekawaro.
Yes, go ahead, please.
The first question is this. If eventually Tinubu now had the ticket for APC, would the SAT present Christian, that is a lot, would they present Christian as the first president? Because Tinubu is a Muslim. Automatically he will become Muslim to Muslim ticket.
Okay.
Then the second one is this. If they said is by that is what I'm trying to say, like the president is zoning is by opening.
Yeah.
So to make sure they remove water system from everything that they do in Nigeria, so that they will do in what we call that, if you know it, that is I'm not going to put it that sorry.
Well, I'm trying to make sense of what you're saying, particularly the little part of your expression.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you go by, you say you know it, then you qualify for it, so you go for it. Not that they will say that you are the one, they want to turn it through the Muslim quota system, so that everybody is qualified for the job. We go for the job.
That's an open process. Everybody contests, and the best person emerges. That's the point you're making.
I don't know. I don't want the best. This thing must come to the south.
Okay.
If the north said that it must go to the north, it means anybody that qualifies in any job in Nigeria must go for that job. It's not that bringing somebody that is quota system. Okay. I don't want any quota system in Nigeria again.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Good morning. Yes, good morning. What's your name? Okay, you need to speak up a little bit so we can hear you. Good morning. What's your name? (052290573). The number is on the screen. If you're listening to us on radio, it's 05229. Hello, caller. Good morning. Hello, good morning. 052290573. That's the studio number. Hello, caller. Good morning. Television or radio? Turn it down.
Yes. This is Engineer Simon.
Okay, Engineer Simon, go ahead.
Yes. I believe that the problem with this country is we need to stop the issue of tribalism. It is time for us to act as Nigerians. The truth is this. All Nigerians, we are aware of the credibility of each leadership competing for this presidential position. But we tend to play. Person A will say, I am from PDP. Person B will say, I'm from APC. But it is clear that we put first the fact that we need to build Nigeria. Yeah. And in building Nigeria, we need to act as Nigerians. The reason why the United States is built up today is because the people are not segregated. They don't say to themselves from Texas or I'm from New York. They see themselves as part of the United States of America, and they are committed to building the United States of America. Then in the aspect of military, I believe that our first agency has a lot to do. Because the truth is this, if our first agency sit up tight to really do their work, this thing will be a thing of the past. Now, this pandemic is coming from outside the country. Where do they pass through? Is it not the borderline? Is it not the border? Where are our immigration officers? Where are those officers assigned to the borderline? What are they doing? Now, these roads, are they not accessing roads to get to their final destination, to the point where they carry out the attack? Are there no police officers at those checkpoints?
Too many questions, my brother, begging for answers. Too many questions, begging for answers.
Let our agencies sit up tight.
All right. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you. Okay. Just one call. We'll be back to the studio to our panelists. Hello, caller. Good morning. Turn down the audio level.
Good morning.
Yes. What's your name?
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
Chris on the line.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes. Talking about the wicked to Benin, the government is very, very wrong. What is wrong is wrong. Okay. It's not justifiable in any way. Being a governor, it's the governor supposed to be your co-governor. If somebody that want to become a president, in your own unit, we are called unit, we are not talking your own region. We are causing division along your party. What they are using as to do is to the delegate as another governor, it's a minus for him.
Okay.
It's very unfortunate.
Okay.
It's a minus for him. But most of them will be justifying now. But the other governor who will declare delegate, it's a minus for him.
All right.
Talking of journey.
Yeah.
So, planning and preparation will go. South Ghana will not plan well. And the same needs for self-forum. What we have done before now, when they amend the Constitution and Electoral Act, it's supposed to go for our legislative member that should be on condition of act, the Electoral Act, that each zone should be recorded between North and the South. So when it comes to the North, for both of particular stronger, they could say likewise. It is there that all regions will be taken care of. It is there that all regions will produce president. This is not the Electoral Act, it's just the Constitution. We are not making noise. Our people fail. They are still lost in the House of Assembly or in the Senate.
No.
So, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Now, what do you make of the feedback from viewers and listeners? Let's start with you. Yes.
Well, it's in tandem with our solution. Some of them in tandem with our solution.
Can you hear me?
Okay, just a moment. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning.
Yes.
I'm Ola. I'm calling you from London State.
From More. Please go ahead, Ola. Yeah.
Please, I want to talk about those PDP aspirants that are looking for a consensus candidate. And those who are actually saying zoning doesn't matter. But there is height of hypocrisy. If zoning was an important consideration in 2015 and in the years past, I see no reason why it should not be considered now. So the power should come to the South. That is my take on that. And I'm also talking about the issue of Osibaju and Tinubu.
Yeah.
Everybody has the right to contest for elections.
Absolutely.
And you cannot say a professor of law is less qualified than Tinubu, who his certificate is still in doubt. There are still some cases, there are cases where they say Tinubu doesn't have a result in University of Chicago, this and that. So you cannot compare a professor of law, and whenever Buhari goes out of this country and hands over power to Sibaju, we see its effect. So let's give him a try and let every one of them go to defeat and test their popularity.
Okay.
I think that should settle that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Feedback as we come to wrap down this lab.
Yes. I think what they have said here is in tandem with what we have been saying here. Some of them have agreed to zoning very clearly that zoning is appropriate at this time. Zoning promotes national unity and national cohesion, and that agreement is not in doubt. A lot of people are not happy that Governor Wike came here without visiting the governor. Said protocol demands. We acknowledge that, but we also point out when there are political disloyalty here and there, there are always consequences one way or the other, and those are some of the things. Okay. Politicians naturally don't take it lightly, but however, when it comes to governance, once you are elected, you every of our activities should be geared towards promoting unity. Okay. Even for those that didn't vote for you, you bring everybody together, and so that you'll be able to foster development. Otherwise, you have problem. Okay. If you begin to marginalize people, they will frustrate you.
Absolutely.
That is
all right, Chris, final word, Chris.
Yes, I'm happy with the consciousness, as the political consciousness out there.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I can take away from the feedback. And I pray that such consciousness will continue so that it will get to the point where the electorate will actually have to decide the elections. Okay. Because one of the problems we have now is that the electorate are being marginalized,
coerced
by the status quo. But when there's enough enlightenment, the electorate can now stand together as a team to resist any form of coercion and ensure that their vote counts.
Well, that's the end of the road on Politics Today on independent television and radio. I want to say big thanks to our panelists. Paris Salida, thank you so much for coming. And Christopher Jekere, thank you for coming. And to all our viewers and listeners, from wherever you're watching across the world, we say big thanks to you for making it a point of duty to be part of the program for this week. We'll be back here next week, Saturday, God willing, with a fresh edition of the program. But you can continue the conversation on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/ITV Radio NG. Watch this video there, share the video, comment on it, and hopefully we may look at those comments in our subsequent editions of the program. My name is Sonny Duke Okosun. Thanking you for staying with us. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.